What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now, today, we got a very important video. We're kind of switching up the topics a little bit, right? But it's nothing we've never talked about on this channel. Now, who you're looking at on the screen, for those of you who may not know, this is Tim Tebow. He is a former Heisman Trophy winner, two-time national champion in college football back in 2007 up till about 2009, right around in that area, right? In the sports world, he is very known, very well known, very famous guy. Went to the NFL, and he's also an advocate for missing little ones, which is what this video is mostly about. Not gonna say too much in this introduction for YouTube purposes and the community guidelines, but we're gonna get into it. This is a very, very important video. Just like any other video we make on this topic, you know, the videos we did back with Ali Carter, the most recent video where we were just talking about CPS, Little One Protective Services, and the things that they have been rumored to be involved in as far as being, you know, predators against the little ones. The Sean Ryan show popped up on my recommended, right? Boom. Soon as I saw the title, had to watch it. And this interview, the portion that we're going to watch, it's about 7 minutes long. And I also got another piece from the interview. Tebow was almost about to cry. And he's talking about certain statistics with the little ones being trafficked. And now he also gives you some statistics of offenders that you would not believe. Y'all know how we talked about that uncle that's always in the family. You know, we went over a couple of cases where uncles in the family was having inappropriate relationships with the niece who's 13, who's 14, and next thing you know, they end up unaliving the niece and trying to cover it up so they don't get caught up in the stuff that they were doing. It's mind-blowing. When I watched this interview, man, I probably watched this junk. Not the entire interview. These certain clips, I probably watched them 10 times by now. Every time I listen to it, I can feel, you know, the information. I can feel how important it is for people to understand this stuff. His voice is shaking the whole time he's talking about it. And you can feel it's authentic because, like, he's going to tell you this stuff happening right in our backyard. This is happening right in your neighborhood. Just wait until you hear some of these statistics, y'all. This stuff is sick. This stuff is wicked. And this is what I be talking about. Like, the evil that really lurks through this world. The energy of these demons that really lurks through this world. It starts with the little ones, as in that is who they prey on. That's who these demons like to prey on. And they are, you know, the ones who need to be protected the most. So if you have a daughter, if you have a child, you have a son, you have, you know, nieces and nephews that you might take care of sometimes, you know, this right here, this clip, hearing this, y'all, oh, it's going to make you want to hug them just a little bit tighter and watch every single move that they make, especially when they're around your family. Especially when they're around your family. You almost don't got to worry about strangers out here anymore. It's coming from the home. But look, before I stress it all too much, man, we're going to get into this clip. We're going to come back and talk about this a little bit more, all right? Check this out.
But specifically, our heart is to get to as many and leverage anything and everything we can so that they can get out of this evil. And as I mentioned earlier, you think so much is done by all these groups and gangs. And yes, that does take place in a lot of areas. But man, it's overwhelming when you think how much is done by families, by friends, by those in the trusted circle. And especially when we talk about the fight against child exploitation and child abuse, it's off the charts of what is being done in the families. And do you know what's the, I don't know if I want to say most disappointing, but maybe one of the most heartbreaking is, do you know the number one offender? Biological fathers. And it's not going to make your day, but I brought a map to share with you. Is this map? Every red dot on that. So first of all, that is a DOJ law enforcement map. It's called the Red Dot Map. And this is over the last 30 days, and every red dot on that map is at least one unique IP address of individuals downloading, sharing, distributing child abuse and images under the age of 12. And there's over 111,000 of them just in the US of the last 30 days. Wow. And I wanted to bring that because I think it brings to life so much of the evil that we're trying to face. And people will say, well, that's just over there and it's in those countries and it's all of those places. And it's not. Sean, it's right here in our backyard. It is right here. And out of everyone, and some people will say, okay, well they're just downloading and sharing it and distributing it, but they're not. 55 to 85% are also hands-on offenders, and your average offender has 13 victims in their lifetime.
All right, y'all, let's pause 1 second, because there's no way I was just gonna let y'all breeze through this, hear that one time, and hear me talk and ran on, right? No. We gotta run that back. We gotta go over this by the article real quick, because there's a reason this stuff is not covered by mainstream media. There is a reason why I couldn't find a single photo of that map that he just showed Sean Ryan. That's a DOJ map, maybe some kind of exclusive access to people who are in politics or just have connections to get that kind of map for the last 30 days. So they know how bad it is. They create maps to identify these unique IP addresses, but they're, in a sense, not doing anything about it, right? Tebow has a foundation, and he's so far rescued over 2,000 victims and assisted in prosecution of more than 500 traffickers across 30 countries. The foundation operates 20 safe homes, with an additional 22 under development, providing refuge and rehabilitation for survivors. Now, y'all remember where he said, this is happening from biological fathers. They are the top offenders. Remember, when I ended that intro, I said this is not coming from strangers. It's not coming from the uncle or, the distant cousin. The top offenders are biological fathers, y'all, doing this to their own kids. That map showed 111,000 unique IP addresses across the country, the USA, America, each representing individuals who had downloaded or shared little one abuse or the R word. We're not going to say that, and probably not even going to show it on the screen. Y'all know what I'm talking about. RAPE. So each of those dots represented one person or multiple people under that, IP address for little ones under 12 years old in just the past 30 days, y'all. Not 6 months, not a year. You probably couldn't see any white if it was just a couple of months. He also clarified the figure excludes cases involving sextortion, grooming, or live streamed abuse. The map was nearly covered in red dots. And it seemed to be most of it was on the East Coast, down south, up north, like the entire East Coast covered in red dots. A lot more significant than the Midwest and the West Coast. I'm not trying to say that details anything, but I find that to be very interesting. Could be hubs, in certain places that increase that kind of traffic, that kind of, content being shared. Who knows? Not sure about that. So it says he highlighted that many offenders aren't who people might expect. They're often middle-aged, college-educated men with stable jobs, which some of this stuff we're going to get right back into. I'm not going to take too long on this clip, but I want to highlight some of this stuff so it embeds in your head how serious this is. He also pointed out that the average offender abuses 13 victims over their lifetime. Yet, Cyber Crimes Center, who is abbreviated as C3, currently has only 7 officers dedicated to victim identification, y'all. And he's trying to get something passed in the Congress, the bipartisan Renewed Hope Act, to add over 200 trained analysts and investigators to help identify 50,000 little ones from exploitation. This lets you know they don't have much urgency. 7 people are currently tracking unidentified little ones. 7 people. Cyber Crime Center, which is on the internet. Remember when we talked about Cornhub and how long it took for them to actually find the videos that was this same kind of content being shared, being uploaded. Same kind of stuff. Remember how long it took them? The video had to be flagged over 15 times in order for it to register and be investigated. Same thing. He emphasized that this kind of exploitation isn't accidental. They're violent, intentional images, not innocent photos like a baby in a bathtub. And what is also one of the craziest things, but you're going to hear this when this clip continues to roll, is that Americans are the top payers for live streamed you-know-what. And we rank 3rd globally behind China and Russia in peer-to-peer sharing of abuse material. Y'all, we're top 3 behind China and Russia in live streamed little one RAPE. We're ranked 3rd, y'all. So these people out here paying and watching live streamed RAPE. It's live. It's happening as they're watching it. They're paying to see it. This is the devil. This is that nasty, disgusting devil. This is demons. This is reality. This is our reality.
13 victims. Every one of those red dots is there's a boy or girl that is suffering on the other end of what they're sharing, downloading, or distributing. And I wanted to share that with you because I know that your heart breaks for them. And I think that map brings to life the evil that we're trying to fight. And it's why, one of our hearts is to get the Renewed Hope Act passed through Congress, because it takes the law enforcement officers right now and victim identification officers at C3, and they're amazing. Some of my favorite people in the world, but there's 7 of them right now at C3.
There's how many?
7.
7 people to
yes, and also ICACs are working on that. We love ICAC, and we need to enhance their funding because they desperately need it. Internet Crimes Against Children, and they're awesome. 62 locations around the country, but primarily the ones that are also working on this are at C3. And we want to get the Renewed Hope Act passed because it would take it from 7 to 200. And now we have a much greater chance if we have all of those officers that are trained and equipped to be fighting against this evil. And again, that's the last 30 days. And that's not getting into live streaming or sextortion or grooming or so many of the other issues we're fighting. That is just in peer-to-peer networks of them sharing and distributing child images under the age of 12.
This is 12 and under.
12 and under.
111,423 unique IP addresses.
And some people will say, well, that's just, they're just downloading it and they're just sharing it. And no, it's not just that easy. You have to go in, you have to download it, just, a peer-to-peer, and then you have to be able to download all of these images, and then you're sharing them. It's not like this just happens by accident. It's not like, oh, I just looked at a bad picture, and it's not like this is a photo of a baby in a bathtub. No, so many of these are brutal abuse of children. And when we go back to those 50,000 boys and girls that are unknown in the ICSA database that we were talking about before, out of those 57,000, over 3,000 of them were infants or toddlers.
Oh, man.
And so if you say what's on our heart, and these are boys and girls that can't fight for themselves. They can't defend themselves. And yet, so many of us, myself for so long, did nothing to defend or stand up for them. And it is our heart that we would rally an army, and maybe we would even declare a national emergency to fight this evil. If this is happening in our backyard, and out of all those that have been rescued from, or out of all those that have been, safeguarded and rescued from Renewed Hope 1, 2, and 3, more than half of those boys and girls have been right here in the U.S. So we think it's over there, it's over there, it's over there. No, yes, it is happening in other places, but it is happening in our country, right here, in our neighborhoods, in our backyards, in our families. And then we get into the fight against live streaming. And do you know the number one payer of live stream of boys and girls around the world?
U.S.
U.S. Not close. And in peer-to-peer sharing, we're third. China, Russia, America.
Man.
Sorry, I do get fired up about
I
it.
do too, man. It's, how are you combating this?
Well, we're trying to do it in every area, in every way possible, whether that's with partnerships and nonprofits and law enforcement and rallying and task forces and legislation and lobbying, trying to get them to enhance the army per se in fighting this. And that's really what the Renewed Hope Act is for. But it's also getting the Renewed Hope operations more and more and more. And we're having more and more every day. But it's also, creating awareness. And I hate to use awareness because people say it all the time, and I don't want awareness for awareness sake. I want people to be aware so we act to do something. I think we really have to change laws and legislation, and I believe there's a lot of people in Congress and in DC that want to change it, but we have to get it done. We have to protect these boys and girls.
Now, when you go back and listen to everything that this video has been about, it's clear as day that this is a business. There's a reason why this type of stuff is not promoted and it's not talked about mainstream media. There's a reason why, someone like Tim Tebow has to go on a platform to spread awareness when this should be something that is fought constantly by the government on a bigger scale. He almost feels that this deserves to be declared as a national emergency. Now, I see local stuff, especially out of Florida, where they are constantly fighting trafficking, human trafficking, of all ages. And you have to think about what he said. Out of the 50,000 unidentified little ones, 3,000 of them are infants and toddlers. Unidentified, being cycled through trafficking, being sold, groomed from the moment they were born. This is a business that is worth billions. Probably, makes these people the most money out of any kind of trade in this world. And we're just looking at, some statistics of the last 30 days in the U.S. We already know if we're the top buyer of little one you-know-what, and China and Russia are top buyers in peer-to-peer sharing of you-know-what, you could only imagine numbers in those countries as well, countries that have way more people than we have here in the United States. Like you said, middle-aged men, good jobs, college degrees, are sitting at home and they have an entirely different life. But they share and they watch, content, or if you want to call it that, of others being abused. That's also a way that this stuff can be happening. But let's not put it past anyone of doing it to their actual kids. And a lot of moms allowing it or too scared to stop it. We've heard those stories as well, bunch of times. So, like I said, man, this is one of those videos that'll give you a lot to think about. Keep your kids close. Today, and I think I've said this before, today is not the time to relax on your children. It's not the time to relax and give them more breathing room and let them roam around and be out all kinds of times in the night. Don't matter if they 16, 17, 14, you think they getting a little older. No, they can still be manipulated. There are predators. There are demons out here roaming the streets, looking for yours. Like I said, watch your family. Make sure, that male ain't getting too close. Don't matter if he the dad or not. You damn near can't trust anyone until you actually see, with your own eyes. And be careful about who y'all sharing a home with. That's where it starts. Be careful about who you moving in with. There's there's a lot of things we can say here, but ultimately, watch your kids, man. Any of y'all listening, you got kids, just watch them. Watch them, hold them tight, because this stuff is wicked, man. And I completely agree with the video. So with that being said, y'all, let me know what y'all think about that one for sure. We'll be back Sunday with some more content. So with that being said, y'all, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.